What's up guys, David Sherback here. Today I'm here with an NBA basketball video, whatever you want to call it. Now the NBA recently announced that they might be doing, well the season's gonna come back. We pretty much know that. That's pretty much set in stone. But the NBA is considering doing a 1-16 reseeded NBA playoffs. So basically this means no conferences. It's just the best 16 teams in the league going into the playoffs, and I'm super hyped about this. I definitely want to see this. It makes it a lot more interesting as an NBA fan. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving my predictions for the playoffs if they were to do this 1-16 seeded playoffs. I have all the matchups here in front of me, and I'm going to give my predictions for each one. And yeah, we're just going to go through this. I'm super excited. I really hope this happens. Obviously, the NBA is probably going to be playing in like a neutral zone. Probably they've been talking about Disney World. I think that's like the main one they're talking about right now. So we'll see what happens, but I just want to give my predictions for these. Obviously no home court advantage really if it's in a neutral site for each of these, so that doesn't matter. But let's start off with the Bucks and the Magic, the 1 and the 16 seed. I think this one's pretty easy. I think it's going to be the Bucks in 4 or 5. I don't really think it's going to be close. The Magic really don't have someone to stop Giannis at all. The Bucks are just the better team. They've shown this year that they're a good team. I think all 4 games, if it's a sweep, they're going to be blowouts. So I don't think that's going to even be close. Maybe the Magic can steal one game. You never really know. We saw that last year against the Raptors. DJ Augustine went off. And they were able to steal a game, but other than that, I don't really think it's going to be close. It's either Bucks in a sweep or in 5, so the Bucks are definitely going to be moving on. Next up, we got the, actually, you know what, we'll just go 1, 2, we'll go like in order. So we got the Lakers, the 2 seed, against the Nets, the 15 seed. Now the Nets are interesting. I'm not sure if Kyrie Irving's going to be back. Obviously, he was dealing with that injury before the NBA got postponed. They've said, people have been talking about Kevin Durant maybe coming back, but I'm pretty sure the Nets have already said, and Kevin Durant himself has said that he's not going to be playing even if the season does come back. So if there's no Kyrie Irving, if there's no Kevin Durant, it's definitely going to be the Lakers, probably a sweep. If they do have Kyrie, I could see the Nets stealing a game. Kyrie would probably go off for like 50 or something, and they could maybe steal a game. But the Lakers really did look like, I think, the best team in the NBA before the break there. And yeah, I think it's going to be either Lakers in 4 or Lakers in 5. It really depends if Kyrie Irving plays, but I don't think it's going to be close. So yeah, let's move on to the 3 seed, my Toronto Raptors. The 3 seed Raptors against the 14 seed Grizzlies. Now this is a really cool matchup. We got Jonas Valanciunas against his former team, the Raptors. The young Grizzlies team that nobody really thought that would be in the playoffs. They're fun to watch. But ultimately, obviously it's a little bit biased. I'm a little bit biased because I'm a Raptors fan. I'm going to try and be completely unbiased in this, but I feel like most people think the Raptors have this one. The Raptors have the experience, the Raptors have the depth, and I don't really think the Grizzlies are going to be able to handle it. Raptors are one of the best defenses in the league, so I think they'll really be able to clamp up the Grizzlies here. I could see the Grizzlies stealing a game. I don't think they would get 2 games, so I think it would be Raptors in a sweep or in 5. I don't think the games could be close, but I think the Raptors, the experience would take over, and they would be able to close this one out. It would be a cool series, though. It would be a fun one to watch, I think. But yeah, ultimately, I think the Raptors got the talent, the depth, the experience over the Grizzlies in general. It'll be cool to see Ja in the playoffs, though, see what he can do. This is all if this is actually going to happen, right, guys? So yeah, Raptors in either 4 or 5. But let's move on to the 4 seed here, the Clippers versus the 13 seed Mavericks. Now, this one is really interesting. Obviously, Luka is insanely good. He might be able to make this a series. I could see this like a 6-game series. I definitely don't think it's like a sweep or anything. But I still have to take the Clippers. The Clippers are just so good. They have so many good pieces. Like they have great defenders too. They didn't really show. I don't think they showed what their full potential is this regular season. I think they're more of a playoff team with the star power that they have. They've got great defenders, Paul George, Kawhi. They have Pat Bev. being annoying. They have Montrezl Harrell in the inside, and they got guys off the bench like Montrez, of course, Lou Will. I don't think the Mavericks are really going to be able to handle it. They do have Luka, of course, and I feel like Luka would actually, you know what? I don't know if Luka would really go off in this series. The Clippers have great defenders. I feel like Kawhi, Paul George, and even Pat Bev would kind of be able to shut Luka down a little bit, because Luka really doesn't really have the experience. He hasn't gone against like great defenders. Obviously, he hasn't been in the playoffs before, so we'll have to see what happens. But I think the Clippers got this in either 5 or 6. I don't really see it going 7. But yeah, I definitely think the Clippers got this. They're just such a good team. They're so deep. It's actually insane. Like adding Reggie Jackson, they even added Joakim Noah. Like what? I know Joakim Noah isn't what he used to be, but like they just have so many good pieces. All right, let's move on to the 5 seed versus the 12 seed. The Boston Celtics versus the 76ers. I really don't like the 76ers, but like I said, I'm going to try and be unbiased in this. I still think the Celtics are a better team. The Sixers have showed that they can't really coexist with that lineup that they have right now. The 76ers this year, to me, were like the Celtics of last year. They have lots of talent. They have a bunch of really good players, but they just can't seem to figure it out and how to put it together. So I got the Celtics. I think it could be a close series. It could be a 7-game series. But ultimately, I got the Celtics in 6. The Sixers also don't have their home court advantage. They don't have their fans to like pump them up. And we all know how bad the Sixers are on the road when they don't have their fans. So I think that's also another disadvantage for the Sixers. I don't want to bring up like lots of people have been talking about Joel Embiid and like how he's going to be out of shape. And I've seen that with Jokic as well. But like I feel like most players are going to be out of shape. It really depends what like the training camp is going to be like, how long that's going to be. If we're going to have some regular season games, we'll see. But I don't really want to take like being in shape as a factor in this. So even disregarding that, I still got the Celtics in 6. I think they're the better team. I think they're the deeper team. The Sixers bench just really scares me in general. They're not that great. All right, let's move on to the 6 seed versus the 11 seed. I really like this series right here. The Nuggets versus the Pacers. I think this could be close. The Pacers were struggling before the break. Yeah, this one's tough. Victor Oladipo was coming back. He was struggling after coming back from injury, but maybe with that rest, maybe he's 100% healthy now, and maybe he can steal a couple games for the Pacers. But ultimately, I think the Nuggets got this one probably in 6, maybe even 5. I think the Nuggets are just a really deep team. I see a lot of people like underrating the Nuggets. I don't know why. I think they're really good. Like, I don't know, they're super deep. They got Michael Porter Jr. over there. Jokic is great. Jamal Murray, of course. Gary Harris has taken a step back this year and the previous year offensively, but like they're well coached by Mike Malone. I just really like the Nuggets, so I think, yeah, I got to take the Nuggets in either 5 or 6, but it would be a fun series for sure. All right, we got the Jazz, the 7 seed, versus the Rockets, the 10 seed. For this one, the Jazz are the higher seed, of course. The Jazz did recently lose Bogdanovic. He's not going to be playing. The Jazz announced that. So without Bogdanovic, the Jazz were also struggling before the break there a little bit. The Rockets were kind of picking up steam with their small ball. We don't know. I don't really like bringing this up between Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, because I feel like it's kind of non-existent. Like, it really shouldn't be that big of a deal. They're a little like drama, but we'll see how that goes. I don't know if that's going to be a deciding factor. I feel like it's not really, but even considering that, I still have to take the Rockets in this. I think the small balls, it's going to work. The Rockets were showing that the small ball was kind of working. And the Jazz without Bogdanovic, I just don't know how they're going to get it done offensively. I mean, Rudy Gobert could be a problem against the Jazz's or the Rockets small ball, but really, Rudy isn't like that offensively. So, yeah, I got the Rockets. It could be a close one, too. I'm going to say Rockets in 6. Now, probably the best series of this first round is the 8 and the 9 seed here, the Miami Heat and the Thunder. For this series, see, this one's hard to decide because they're so evenly matched. Like, Both have been great stories this year. I don't think people thought the Heat would be as good as they were. Definitely people didn't think the Thunder would be as good as they are. For me, I'm going to go Thunder in 7. I think it's a 7-game series, but I think Chris Paul and the experience of Chris Paul overall takes over. I mean, yeah, the Heat have Jimmy. They're probably the deeper team, but I really like Chris Paul, and I think he's going to get it done. Obviously, they don't have the depth like I just said, but I think the experience of Chris Paul, the leadership of Chris Paul is gonna take over in this series. And yeah, I got the Thunder in 7, but honestly, it could go either way. I really don't know with that one. It's gonna be a really close series, so Thunder in 7 is what I think. So in this round right here, we have the Bucks versus the Thunder. Or wait, would they reseed the Final 4 or the Elite 8, or would they just do this? I'm gonna go as if they just did it as this bracket right here. So it would be the Bucks versus the Thunder. I don't think the Thunder really stand a chance in this one. I think their story comes to an end here. I think the Bucks played them once this season and they completely blew them out by it was more than a blowout. It was 30, it might have even been more than 40 points. So I really don't think the Thunder can handle Giannis. I don't think they have anyone to stop Giannis. I think if the Heat made it out of the first round, they would be more equipped to take on Giannis and defend Giannis. They showed regular season success against the Bucks. But if the Thunder make it out, I think the Bucks either sweep them or get them in 5. I don't really think that's close there. For this series over here, the Lakers versus the Rockets. Now this one's interesting. The Rockets they won that one game when they were first trying their small ball against the Lakers. I think the Lakers still got this. I don't really see who's guarding Anthony Davis. I mean, PJ Tucker, he can try, but I don't really think anybody on the Rockets is gonna be able to guard AD. I think just the Lakers are just too good, honestly, for the Rockets here. I think the Lakers get them in 5. I think that's where the small ball is gonna come to an end, and it's not gonna work. And that's really the problem with small ball. To win a championship, you have to have a balanced team. You have to have shooting. You have to have an interior presence. We saw that. You see that pretty much with every team. Even with the Warriors, when the Warriors, they never had a dominant big man, but they always had at least a big man. PJ Tucker really isn't a center, so I think that's where the Rockets come to an end there. Lakers in 5. So we got on this one, we got Raptors versus Nuggets. Now this is really close. Being completely unbiased, I think this is a 7-game series. The Raptors played the Nuggets once this season, and they lost to the Nuggets on the road. But I think fully healthy, I think the Raptors, the experience, the championship DNA, the Nuggets are still pretty young, it seems like. I think the Raptors' experience takes over once again. I think Marc Gasol and Serge can do a great job on Jokic. We've seen Marc Gasol is a great defender. He did it last year against Vucevic, against Embiid, helped against Giannis last year. So I think defensively, we can stop the Nuggets. And I think our offense will be good enough to take over in this series. And like I said, it could be close. It could be a 7-gamer. But I think the Raptors take it in 7. So Raptors beat the Nuggets in 7. On this side, we have the Clippers versus the Celtics. Now, this is a really good matchup. Both the games they played this year in the regular season were really close, really fun to watch. So I think this is probably the best series maybe of the second round there. I could see the Celtics upsetting the Clippers. I definitely could see the Celtics doing that. But once again, I think the Clippers have this one. They're just so stacked. You got Kawhi, he can switch on to Jason Tatum. Pat Bev defensively, just harassing Kemba Walker. I don't know. I don't see the Celtics really being able to get it done against the Clippers here. I think the Clippers win this one in 6. It would be a really fun series, a really good series though, but I think the Clippers get it done in 6. So in the Final 4, we have the Bucks versus the Clippers and the Lakers versus the Raptors. Now, I don't know about you, but this would be a pretty sick Final 4 to see. Let's start off with the Bucks and the Clippers. Now, I've been really high on the Clippers, Once again, they haven't shown it during the regular season, but like I said, I really believe in them in the playoffs. I mean, they have Kawhi. We saw what Kawhi did last year against Giannis and the Bucks. But honestly, I think the Bucks have this one. I think it's a close one. I'm going to say Bucks in 7 against the Clippers. I think the Bucks are just so good this year. It really depends, though. Like, if we see the Bucks that we saw in the regular season, I think they'll beat the Clippers, where they're blowing out teams and stuff like that. And if we see Giannis at that same level or even better, I think the Bucks have this in 7, I'm gonna say. But honestly, like, it could go either way. Kawhi, you can never count out Kawhi, honestly. Kawhi could clamp up Giannis. But yeah, I think the Bucks shooters, I think overall the Bucks got this one. It would be a close series, I think, but the Bucks are going to the finals, I believe. Now this is where it gets kind of sad, because we have the Lakers, the 2 seed, versus the Raptors, the 3 seed. Obviously, I'm a Raptors fan, but I think this is where it comes to an end. I don't think the Raptors can really get it done. Yeah, we did beat them in the regular season, the one game we played, but that's the regular season. It really doesn't mean that much. That was a game all the way back in November. So I think the Lakers beat the Raptors in 6. I think the Raptors can steal a couple games just because of their defense. Like, the Raptors would fight. They would put up a fight. They wouldn't give up. We know that. That's guaranteed with the Raptors. But I think the Lakers overall, I think the Lakers and the Bucks are the 2 best teams in the NBA right now. So I think the Lakers got the Raptors in 6. And then it would be a Lakers-Bucks finals. Now this is tough. I've seen lots of people saying taking the Lakers over the Bucks, but I don't know. Like, yeah, they got the experience. LeBron's been there before. AD hasn't, but they definitely have the experience with Rondo, LeBron, who else? Danny Green. Like, yeah, the Bucks have experience from last year, but do we know if Giannis can really get it done? Like, that's going to be the main thing about this series, is Giannis's ability to create his own shot. And I think the Lakers are really good defensively. They could build the wall kind of like the Raptors did last year, and they could shut Giannis down. This is really tough. I'm going to take the Lakers. I'm going to take the Lakers in 6. I think overall the experience of the Lakers, I think championship DNA with LeBron, Danny Green, Rajon Rondo, I think that really takes over. And I think they're good enough defensively with Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard in the middle. And I think they're smart. I think they would know how to guard Giannis. I mean, I feel like the whole league kind of knows the strategy of guarding Giannis, but it really depends on Giannis. Giannis is like the X factor, obviously, if he's going to be able to show up in those big games and create his own shot, because, yeah, the Lakers are good. They're big. And I think they have the firepower on offense as well to beat the Bucks. So I got the Lakers in 6, winning the 2020 NBA Finals. Now, would there be an asterisk next to it? Maybe. People will probably put an asterisk next to it, but honestly, I think it's honestly harder to win a championship with the whole COVID thing going on and taking a break for it'll be 3 or 4 months, and then having to come back and do the playoffs. So I don't think there should be an asterisk next to it. I think it's even harder to win a championship with these conditions. So that's my prediction. Lakers winning the NBA title. I really wanted to say the Raptors could beat the Lakers, but I don't know about that. I don't know if we got the talent to do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Let me know if you guys agree with my playoff predictions here. I really hope the NBA decides to go with this 1-16 reseeded NBA playoffs. I think it's a really cool idea, and it's the perfect time to do it because there's no travel. That's the main concern with this thing, is traveling East Coast to West Coast if there's no conferences, but there's no travel. It's in the same place. So I think it's a really, really good idea, and I hope the NBA does it. I just want to see some basketball. Hopefully we get some basketball soon, and that's pretty much it for this video. If you guys liked it, make sure to leave a like. Let me know down below if you want to see some more NBA videos. And yeah, make sure to go subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.